about 2 minutes yet. The volume seems loud. Is it loud for you guys? All right, we're about 30, 40 seconds yet. Good morning, Jenny. How are you? I'm going to go ahead and get seated on the mat and start to get settled in if you guys want to join me on your mats. All right, I have 10:15, so we'll go ahead and get started. Find a comfortable seat on your mat, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's cross-legged, maybe it's sitting on your shins or with your feet kicked out to the side, or even with your feet straight in front of you. Could also be on a pillow or a blanket. Just finding that comfortable seat. You want to get into a nice tall spine. And then find your breath. Allowing those inhales and exhales to lengthen and deepen. Really drawing in a lung full of fresh, clean oxygen on your inhale. And then on your exhale, moving everything out. Drawing that abdomen towards your spine. Really making sure that you're moving out all of that spent, used air, spent, used energy, making way for a nice clean intake of breath, clean intake of energy on your next inhale. One more nice deep inhale. On your exhale, roll your shoulders down and back. Allow your eyes to come open. Again, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you guys are here. We're going to do some seated warm-ups with our arms and our shoulders at the beginning before we get into some movement. So let's go ahead and bring our hands to heart center. And on an inhale, we're going to inhale all the way up. Exhale back to heart center. Nice full inhales and exhales, really taking your time with the movement. Inhale up. Exhale, heart center. One more. Inhale up. Exhale. Go ahead and walk your fingers out in front of you. Just a little ways. We want to keep our sit bones connected with the mat, so you're not going to come down very far. You can stay up on fingertips, or you can lay the palms of your hands flat. And then I just want you to find some movement. Maybe you're swaying side to side. Just waking up in through the hips just a little bit, kind of awakening the sensations, getting our mind connected to our muscles. On an inhale, gently coming back. Look down and see whichever foot you have crossed in the front. That is the side you're going to twist to first. So we're going to take our opposite hand onto that thigh, hand on that side, back behind you, close to your seat. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, we're twisting open any amount. Couple of breaths here. Try and keep your chin parallel with the floor. Avoid that tendency to look down. And you can peek your gaze back towards that back shoulder, or you can look straight ahead. One more inhale. Exhale, release back to center. We're going to switch the cross of our legs. And of course, if you're not sitting cross-legged, that doesn't pertain to you. We're just going to switch to other side in that case. Bring your hands in front of you, and we're just going to walk our fingers forward. Any amount, staying on those fingertips or coming down with our palms flat on the floor. And again, just finding that motion, a little bit of movement as you sway into your awareness. Sit bones stay connected with the mat. On an inhale, gently walking yourself back up to seated. Opposite hand is going to come onto the thigh, close to the knee of the foot that's in the front. Hand on that side comes back behind you, close to your seat. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, we're twisting open any amount. Again, check in with that chin. Tendency is to look down towards the floor, but try and keep it parallel with the floor. You can look straight ahead or you can peek your gaze back towards that back shoulder. A couple of breaths here. One more inhale. Exhale and release back to center. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to find a seat on our shins. Now, if this is uncomfortable for your knees or feels kind of weird or icky, you can always grab a block or a stack of books and you can set your seat on that block instead of sitting down on your heels. Okay, so that's an option for you. Go ahead and bring your hands onto the floor and then tuck your toes. Once your toes are tucked, coming back up, sitting on those heels or again on that block in between, your tailbone would be seated on the block. Okay, we're going to get into a nice stretch through the arches here. And while we're doing that, we're going to get some more movement with our wrists and our arms. So we're going to bring our hands out in front of us. Flex your wrists down so your fingers are pointing towards the floor. It's like zombie arms. And on an inhale, nice and slow, we're going to come all the way up. Flip your wrists up. Exhale. Come all the way down. Hands come down to your shins. Inhale, coming up. Wrists flip. Fingers point towards the floor. Exhale. Flip them the opposite direction. So you're flexing through the wrists the other way. Hands come down. Inhale up. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, release. And then just go ahead and start to make some circles with your wrists. Then move them in the opposite direction. Open and close your hands a few times, and then shake them out. And then go ahead and bring your hands onto the floor. Release those toes. Lay the tops of your feet flat. Go ahead and press back, sitting on your shins or on the block one more time, and just allow the circulation and the blood to move back into your feet. That can be a very intense stretch on a lot of people, so give it a moment to work its way through. All right, guys, as you're ready, finding hands and knees. Wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Feet are coming back straight from your knees. Pressing your hands firmly into the mat. Fingers are spread nice and wide, and the fingers are actively pressing into the floor. And as you push into the floor, you're going to push your torso up out of the shoulder girdle. So you have a nice long spine, and think about the lower part of your rib cage. You don't have to reach for it. Just think about it and just slightly tuck that up. That's going to help you engage through the abdomen muscles. A couple of breaths here. Now from here, we're going to start to move through a little bit of cat-cow. So on an inhale, we're going to drop the belly towards the floor. Tail comes up, shoulders broaden. Gaze can come up a little bit, but don't overextend through the neck. You want to think about your neck as just a longer part of your spine, and you want everything to stay nice in line. Exhale, arching into cat. Belly draws towards spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, back to neutral. We're going to take a modified side plank. So we're going to take our right foot. We're going to kick it out behind us for a little bit of a kickstand. We're going to take our right hand and we're going to bring it about a half a hand step forward. Left foot comes onto the long edge of the mat, bottom of the foot to the floor. Left hand comes up onto that hip as you open up to the left. This hand can stay here, or you can extend those fingertips towards the ceiling. Couple of breaths here. One more inhale. Exhale, release back into tabletop. Take a moment, readjust, find your alignment. Then we're going to move right into second side. So we're going to take the left foot out behind us. Left hand is going to come forward about a half a handprint. Right foot comes along the long edge of the mat, bottom of the foot to the floor. Right hand comes onto your hip as you open your torso to the right. And again, that hand can stay there, or you can extend those fingers towards the ceiling. Couple of breaths here. One more inhale. Exhale and release. Readjust, finding tabletop. Go ahead and spread your knees just a little bit wide. Press back for a very brief child's pose. Go ahead and bring your forehead onto the mat and feel free to roll out that third eye area, drawing your breath really deeply into your body. I always like to visualize it as if I'm trying to draw that air all the way back to my toes. And then on the exhale, you're really pressing it out, moving out all of that spent air. Take another breath here. One more inhale. On your exhale, coming back into tabletop, hands come underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes here, and on your exhale, press up and back into down dog. Feel free to pedal out your feet in this first down dog, bending deeply into one knee as you send the sit bone nice and high on that straight leg. Take your time with it. Walk the dog out nice and slow. See how that feels for you. Switching legs, bending deeply through the other knee as we send the sit bone of that straight leg towards the ceiling. And as you're ready, pressing both heels towards the floor. They do not need to touch. And in fact, in down dog, your knees don't even need to be straight. It's more important to have a nice long spine and not be rounding through the lower part of your back. So if you need a little bend in your knee, feel free to take that. On an inhale, we're going to shift forward to plank. Exhale, press back into dog. We're going to do exactly that again. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, press back into dog. One more. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, press back into dog. On an inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, walk your feet forward, up in between your hands, forward fold. Go ahead and give yourself lots of softness in this first forward fold. Bend your knees deeply, let your torso meet your thighs, and just let your head and your shoulders hang heavy. Hands can stay on the floor, or you can grab for opposite elbows, moving into ragdoll. And again, you can stay in stillness, or you can gently sway side to side, maybe forward and back just a little bit. Whatever feels organic to you, whatever feels good. And very gently bringing your hands down to the floor with bent knees. On an inhale, we're going to come all the way up. Exhale. Tadasana. All right. 3 half sun salutations. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward, nice long spine as you come down. Inhale into a halfway lift, coming up nice and high, engaging those low back muscles and the spinal muscle or the ab muscles. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. We'll do that again. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. Tadasana. One more. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. Tadasana. All right, sun salutations with low crescent. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a halfway lift. On your exhale, right foot goes back for a lunge. Find your lunge and then right knee comes down. On an inhale, we're going to come all the way up. Exhale, stay here. Take another breath. One more inhale. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Retuck those back toes. Right knee comes up off the mat. On an inhale, straighten your left knee, sending your hips to the ceiling. Exhale, step back into dog. On our inhale, we're going to inhale forward to plank. You can stay in high plank or drop your knees down. Exhale, we're going to lower down nice and slow. Elbows stay tucked close to our sides. Hands come back behind us, palms facing the floor. Inhale, come up into locust. Again, your gaze can come up a little bit here in locust, but make sure you're not overextending your neck. Think about that nice long line of continuation from your tailbone all the way to your cranium. One more inhale. Exhale, hands come underneath your shoulders, toes tuck on an inhale. And on your exhale, push through tabletop back into down dog. On an inhale, looking to the front of the mat. Exhale, right foot's going to come forward up in between your hands. Left knee goes down. Inhale, come on up. Stay here on your exhale. Take another breath. One more inhale. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Retuck your back toes. Left knee comes up off the mat. Take an inhale here and lunge. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. Tadasana. Okay, same thing, second side. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, left foot goes back for a lunge. Find your lunge first, and then left knee comes down. Inhale, hands up. This time on our exhale, we're going to come right back down. Hands come to frame the front foot. Retuck your back toes. Left knee comes up off the mat. On your inhale, straighten that right leg, sending your hips to the ceiling. Exhale, step back into dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Stay in high plank or drop your knees down. Keep them right where they are if you drop them down. Exhale, lower all the way down. Hands back behind us, palms facing the floor. Inhale, locust. Remember to breathe. One more inhale. Exhale and release. Hands come underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes on an inhale. Exhale, press through tabletop back into dog. Inhale, looking to the front of the mat. On your exhale, left foot's going to come forward up in between your hands. Right knee goes down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Retuck your right toes. Right knee comes up off the mat. Take an inhale here. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. Tadasana. All right. Inhale, hands up. Exhale into chair. Hands can stay up with your arms up by your ears, or you can bring them out in front of you. Palms and elbow creases facing the ceiling for serving platter arms. Weight is in your heels. One more inhale here. Exhale and release into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, left foot goes back for a lunge. Get grounded, get stable. We're going to come up into high lunge here. As you're ready, on an inhale, come on up. Exhale, settle in. Squeezing those hip points towards center. Front knee is right over the ankle. Back leg is pressing towards straight. All right. On an exhale, hands are going to come to heart center. The last couple of times we were doing a nice high open twist. Today, I invite you to do that again if that works for you. Today, I'm going to demo just a regular revolved lunge. So on an exhale, right elbow comes up onto that left thigh. Left elbow presses towards the ceiling. Palms are pressing into one another. Torso is pulling through and up, so we're not collapsing on top of that thigh. Gaze can stay on the floor. You can look straight ahead. Couple of breaths here. Back leg stays nice and strong and engaged. One more inhale. On your exhale, release your hands to the floor. Inhale, straighten that front leg, sending your hips to the ceiling. Exhale, step back into dog. On an inhale, we're going to shift forward to plank. Stay in high plank or drop your knees down. Exhale, we're going to lower all the way down again. This time, we're going to keep our hands right where they are. And inhale, we're going to come up into cobra. A nice light touch cobra. Very little pressure with your hands onto the floor. One more inhale. Exhale and release. Tuck your toes on an inhale. Exhale, press through tabletop back into dog. Take a moment in down dog. Inhale, looking to the front of the mat. Exhale, left or right foot's going to come forward up in between your hands. Get grounded, get stable. As you're ready, on an inhale, we're going to come up into high lunge. Exhale, settle in. Again, just take that second to check in with your alignment. Hips are squeezing towards center. Back leg is pressing towards straight. Front knee is right over that ankle. Fingers extend towards the ceiling, but shoulders are dropping down and separating away from each other just a little bit. On an exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale here. Exhale, right elbow is going to come up on top, left elbow on top of that right leg. Right elbow presses towards the ceiling. Hands are really pressing into one another as that back leg pushes towards straight. Torso is drawing through and up, so avoid the collapsing on top of that front leg. A couple of breaths here. One more inhale. Exhale, release your hands down onto the floor. Inhale, straighten the front leg, sending your hips to the ceiling. Exhale, step back into dog. Now you can stand down dog, take a modified vinyasa with me, or take a child's pose. It's your choice. If you want to vinyasa with me, we're going to inhale forward to plank. Stay in high plank or drop your knees down. Exhale, lower all the way down, nice and slow. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes on an inhale. Exhale, press up and back into dog. Inhale, looking forward to the front of the mat. Exhale, left foot's going to come forward up in between our hands. Right heel is going to peel down. On an inhale, we're going to come up into warrior two. Okay, now I want you guys to bring your hands to your hips in warrior two, and I want you to pull the front hip up slightly and press down into the back hip just a little bit. And you should be engaging some muscles that maybe you never knew were there, or maybe you forgot were there, but that should really help you to engage some muscles in through the hip area. Hands come back out. Front palm to the ceiling. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Hand can travel down that back leg, or you can wrap it around and take a half bind. On an exhale, we're going to straighten through the front leg. Front arm comes out nice and long, tipping in through that hip. Hand comes down to the floor, a block, or right on top of your ankle. Top hand extends to the ceiling, coming into triangle. On an exhale, nice and strong, bend into that front knee. Torso comes back up, warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, hands come down to frame that front foot. Peel your back heel up off the mat. Readjust your feet as you need to. On an inhale, straighten that front knee, sending your hips to the ceiling. Exhale, step back into dog. Again, stay in down dog or take a vinyasa with me. If you want a vinyasa, we're going to inhale forward to plank. Stay in high plank or drop your knees down. I'm going all the way to the floor. If you want to do chaturanga, you're welcome to. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, coming up into cobra or up dog. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes. On an inhale. Exhale, press through tabletop back into dog. On an inhale, looking to the front of the mat. Exhale, right foot's going to come up in between your hands this time for a lunge. Left heel peels down. Inhale, come on up into warrior two. Gaze is over that middle finger on your front hand. Couple of breaths here. And again, I invite you to place your hands on your hips and then just ever so gently pull up on the front hip as you press down on the back hip. Should be engaging some muscles in through there that you maybe didn't know you have. Arms extend back out long again. That little exercise always helps me to remember to engage my glute muscles. Front palm to the ceiling. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Again, that back hand can travel down your leg, or you can take the half bind. On an exhale, beginning to straighten through that front leg. Torso tips forward nice and long, and then that right hand comes down either on top of your ankle, on the floor, on either side of your foot. Left fingers extend towards the ceiling. Gaze can go up, it doesn't have to. You can look straight ahead or at the floor. One more inhale. Exhale, nice and strong. Bend into that front knee. Come on back up into warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Peel your back heel up off the mat. On your inhale, send your hips to the ceiling, straightening through that right leg. Exhale, step back into dog. All right, last opportunity for a vinyasa or a modified vinyasa. If you want to take it with me, you can stay in down dog or take a child's pose. If you want a vinyasa, we're going to inhale forward to plank. Stay in high plank or drop your knees down. Exhale, chaturanga or lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, release. Retuck your toes on an inhale. Exhale, press through tabletop, back into down dog. Take a moment in down dog. Okay, guys, on an inhale, we're going to inhale forward to plank. We're going to move into side plank here. You can do it exactly how we did it at the beginning of class by dropping one knee down and kicking out that kickstand, or you can move into full side plank. We're going to go balance on the right-hand side first. So we're going to take that right hand and we're going to step it about a half a palm forward. As we rotate onto the knife edge of that right foot, left foot can come right on top of the right foot or it can stack in front of it. Torso opens to the right, hand can stay on your hip, or you can extend those fingers towards the ceiling. Pressing your hips up towards the ceiling. Couple of breaths. If you like to raise that top foot or move it into tree, feel free to do that. Also, feel free to stagger the feet, drop that right knee down. One more inhale. Exhale, nice and slow, release back into plank. Then we're going to switch to the other side. Left hand comes out about a half a step. We're rotating onto the knife edge of that left foot. Right foot can stack on top, or it can stagger in front. Rotating the torso open to the right. Hand can stay on that hip, or you can extend those fingers towards the ceiling. Pressing through those hip muscles, we're pushing our hips up towards the sky. Toes are spread, nice and activated through the feet. Again, you can drop that knee down, the bottom knee can drop. You can also move into tree or lift the right leg. One more inhale. Exhale, nice and slow. Finding plank first. Knees drop down, spread them nice and wide. Press back for a much deserved child's pose. On an inhale, coming back into tabletop. Just go ahead and walk your hands back, press yourself up into a seat, and then swing your feet around to the side until they're out in front of you. Feet on the floor, knees pointing towards the ceiling. Let's get into the core just a little bit. I'm going to turn a little bit sideways, I think. So we're drawing our torso towards our thighs and our thighs towards our torso. Knees are pushing towards one another. Step your feet back one step. come up onto those tippy toes. You might need to wiggle the feet back just a little bit more. You can hold on to your shins if that feels nice. You can have your feet on the floor, or you can extend your arms out long in front of you. If your fingers go out long in front of you, you want to draw the shoulder blades back and draw them down. Now you can stay here. This should be a lot of muscle activation right here. Otherwise, you can move into boat, bringing one shin up off the mat, followed by the other. Torso is still drawing towards those thighs. Thighs are still drawing towards the torso. Knees are pressing towards the center. If you're extending your fingers, you want to draw the shoulders down and towards center. A couple of breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, gently release. Maybe finding a cross-legged seat. Walk your hands out in front of you like we did at the beginning of practice, and then just gently sway side to side. Inhale, coming back up. Switch the cross of your legs. And we'll do that again. Walk our hands out long, a little bit in front of us. Maybe palms are flat on the floor, swaying side to side. All right, guys, I'm going to move my stuff a little bit more out of the way here. We are going to move into pigeon or a modified pigeon, but we're going to do it from a kind of a unique way, okay? So we're going to start in a 90-90 sit. And if the 90-90 sit is enough, then that's where you can stay. Otherwise, you can wiggle that back leg back into pigeon when the time is right. So we're going to start with our right leg, and we're going to bring that shin parallel with the front of the mat. Foot is flexed. And then we want to think about the right thigh. We want that to be parallel with the long edge of the mat, okay? Then we're going to take our left leg, and we're going to bring the thigh parallel with the short edge of the mat, and we're going to bring the shin parallel with the long edge. That foot is flexed also. Torso comes to the front. If this is enough for you, this is where you stay. Or you can walk your hands a little bit forward. Maybe you stay up on your palms. Maybe you come down onto your forearms. Maybe you think, oh, I really want to move into pigeon from here. If that's what you want to do, you're going to take that left leg and you're just going to bring it back behind you. This isn't going to be the deepest pigeon pose that you've ever been in, but it should be a nice stretch for you. A couple of breaths here. On an inhale, very gently walking your torso up. If you swung that leg back, maybe you're going to use your hand to help you bring it back to the front. Both feet come to the front of the mat, and then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to bring our left shin parallel with the front of the mat. Foot is flexed. Left thigh is parallel with the long edge, okay? Right thigh is parallel with the short edge or the front edge of the mat, and right the shin is parallel with the long edge. Both feet are flexed. Bring the torso back to the front. And again, if this is enough for you, then this is where you stay. Or you begin to walk your hands forward. Maybe you bring your hands out in front of that front foot, maybe palms flat on the floor. Maybe you come down onto your forearms. And again, if you want to move into pigeon from here, you take your right leg and you just pull it back behind you. Knee to the floor, top of the foot to the floor. Couple of breaths here. On an inhale, gently walking yourself back up to seated. If you've extended that right leg back behind you, maybe you're going to reach back and help bring that leg up with your hand. Feet on the floor, knees pointing towards the ceiling. Lean back on your hands and go ahead and let those knees windshield wiper side to side. And then from here, we're going to come down onto our backs. Feet on the floor, knees pointing towards the ceiling. Take a breath here in constructive rest. Maybe your hands rest on your abdomen. Then we're going to bring our hands down down alongside of our hips. Feet are coming straight directly out from our hips or even a little bit wider. Okay, we're going to move up into bridge. Lots of times I do a rolling bridge. This time we're going to hold it for a few breaths. So play with that foot positioning. On an inhale, we're going to go ahead and come on up into bridge. We're pressing up with those glute muscles. We're pulling up with the abdomen. Hamstrings and thighs are engaged. Now, if you feel ickiness in your knee in bridge pose, try and step your feet a little bit wider away from each other and see if that alleviates it. Couple of breaths here. You know, we have to always remind ourselves that yoga was created for really fine-boned men from India, and we as Americans tend not to be fine-boned, and especially women of any ethnicity has a wider pelvis than a man. So we need to make a little bit more room for that. One more inhale. On an exhale, nice and slow with control, we're lowering all the way down. Go ahead and bring your right knee in for a squeeze. Foot is flexed. Lay your left leg out long. Take your left hand on top of that right knee. Right arm goes out to the side for counterbalance. And then on an exhale, we're just going to come into a nice gentle supine twist. That right knee does not need to hit the floor. You can put a block or a cushion underneath of it. Gaze to the ceiling or gaze towards the right fingertips. A couple of breaths. On an inhale, very gently coming back to center. Both feet on the floor. Left knee comes in towards your torso. Give it a nice squeeze. That foot is flexed. And then as you're ready, we're going to lay the right leg out long. Right hand is going to come to the outside of the left knee. Left hand is going to come out long. And then as you're ready, gentle supine twist over to the right. On an inhale, nice and gentle, coming back to center. Both feet come to the floor, knees pointing towards the ceiling. Rest your hand on your belly and just take a breath here. From here, draw your knees in close to your body, wrapping your arms around your shins. Shoulder and head can stay on the floor, or you can bring them up towards your knees and give yourself a nice big squeeze. Maybe roll out that low back just a little bit. And then on an exhale, releasing everything out long. Legs come out in front of you. Arms go out to the side. Maybe your palms face towards the ceiling. You can always bring your feet to the floor in Savasana and point your knees to the ceiling if that feels better in your low back. Another thing that you could do is you could take a blanket or a cushion and just place that gently under your knees, giving your knees a little bit of bend. Sometimes that's enough to take that low pressure out of your back. And just find your breath. But this time we're not trying to manipulate or change it. We're just being aware of the inhales and exhales as they move through your body. As you focus on your breath, finding softness in your body, softening everything and letting it go, releasing and relaxing. We'll have 1 minute of silence. And very gently coming back to your breath, back to your body. Allow your inhales and exhales to begin to lengthen and deepen as you come back into your awareness, back into the room. Begin to make small movements with your fingers and your toes as you continue to reawaken and revitalize. If it feels nice, you can reach your arms out long overhead and take a full body stretch. Gently making your way onto your right hand side, maybe letting your eyes come open a little bit and allowing in a little bit of light. We'll take just a breath here. And then as you're ready, using your hands for support, meeting me in a seated position. I want to thank everybody so much for practicing with me today. I hope your day turns out to be a wonderful one. And with that, I will bid you namaste. Thanks, guys. Good morning, Pam. How are you? Oh my gosh, it's your birthday, 64. Yay, happy birthday, Jenny. I hope you have a great, great day. All right, you guys, we'll see you next week. Bye.